Here's a little CMA SMA. So we've got a circle and a square, and the diameter of the circle and the length of the square are the same. So what is the area in the circle in the green compared to that of the square? So the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. And you can see that I've taken r here, the r squared, and I've made it, put it over d divided by 2. And then we get d squared over 2 squared, so d squared divided by 4. And so d squared, if the diameter is 1, and we got 1 over 4. And so we got 1 pi over 1 times 1 squared over 4 equals pi over 4. Is our ratio is 0.7854. So the area of a square is just d squared, length times width, so that's 1. So the area inside of the circle is 0.7854 compared to the area of the square, which is 1. So one ACMA is 0.7854 of 1 SMA. And so the SMA is, you can see, is the 1 divided by 0.7854. We don't usually remember this number 1.27 CMA. We usually just use the 0.7854 as a multiplier. So if we're given a wire to convert CMA to SMA, we would multiply it by 0.7854. And the way to remember this is that CMA is larger, so there's fewer of them in any given area, or vice versa, the CMA is smaller, so there's going to be more of them in a certain area. So to convert from CMA to SMA, multiply by 0.7854, and to convert from SMA to CMA, divide by 0.7854. So here's a diameter of 1 inch converted into CMA. So the diameter is 0.1 of an inch. We'd multiply it by 1,000 first to get into our mils, thousandths of inches, and square that mils into get our CMA, circular mil area, 10,000. And so the diameter is 0.25 of an inch. We would take the 2.25 times it by 1,000, get to 250 mils, square that to get our circular mil area. If we had a 7-strand, we need to find the CMA of each strand and then multiply it by 7 to get our total CMA. So we'd multiply it, turn it into mils first, square the mils, find our CMA of each strand, and then multiply it by 7 strands to get our total CMA of that wire. Vice versa, if we knew the total CMA of a 7-strand wire, what would be the diameter of each strand? Divided by 7 to find our CMA of each strand. Find the square root of that, and then that would be our diameter in mils, and then divide that by 1,000 to get our diameter per inches per strand. If we wanted to convert a wire into a bus bar, and we knew one length of the bus bar, we'd have to find our circular mil areas and then convert that into square mils. So we're going to multiply it because there's going to be fewer square mils because they're larger. Once we know our CMA, we can divide it by our mils in our length. So here I've converted mils, 0.2 times 1,000, and divided by our square mils by this mils here, and that would give us 103, so that would be our width of, or height of that bus bar. Alternately, if we had a bus bar, what size of wire would we need in circular mils? Well, I've already taken the 0.5 and multiplied by 100, or sorry, 1,000, and I'm missing a 0 here. Actually, it's 125,000 square mils. Divide that by 0.7854, and then that's my circular mils, and the number's bigger because they're smaller. And then we would square root that to find our mils, and then divide by 1,000 to get our